Okay, here we are. We're live at 11:05. I'm BC and we're at Spirit Cars right now. And Mike, you recognize this one? We've been working on this one quite a long time. It's a steel-bodied car. Quite a while ago, Mike gets a barn find. So it's a 34 sedan. He found it and he wanted a chassis. So I said, all right, why don't you just bring the whole thing down here and we'll make sure that the car fits on the chassis. And somehow he convinced me to do the whole car. I kept saying no, 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 but when we got in the building, he's seen kind of what we do. And anyway, Mike's a really nice guy, and if it wasn't for that, he probably wouldn't have convinced me. So I have made a commitment to him to actually personally work on this one. I did a lot of the paint and doing, and like I said, this is probably going to be my last customer car. I'm going to start building my own stuff, although I am back in the glass shop. So technically I am building a lot of cars again. So I'm just going to kind of go over what we got here. It's a 34. I mean, cool car, 34 sedan. We got our Spirit chassis under it. It's an independent front suspension. We've got a Chevy motor in it. I think it came out of a vet. So we got all the computer stuff we got to figure out. We got air conditioning on it. A lot of the stuff, the vents and all that, so we got to redo all that, and redoing the windshield. So we cut off a lot. This is not the original firewall. We changed up the firewall. So some of the stuff you had to prune it. You had to take it. You had to kind of clean up the old. You can see it's a little dusty now, but can you see that roof? That's not an original roof. An original roof has got like a vinyl insert in the middle of it, and so this is a van roof. So we installed a van roof on it, and again, that's one of those, it's one off. Normally if I would have done this, I would have wanted to make a mold off this car, which we didn't do, but it's got a pretty cool looking rib roof. So it's in upholstery now. We kind of had to push it out into the shop here because the camera wasn't getting good reception in the upholstery shop. Old Fast Eddie, he's doing his job. And Mike brought some seats down. We come over on this side. Are you gonna go over there?
I'll go over there.
Okay.
That way you can sit.
I can sit in it. Yeah, they sit nice. Man, they do sit nice. But these seats came out of a truck, and you can see they fold down. You can see the back seat, how it fits in there nice. We don't have the sides upholstered yet, but he's built the side panels, put the wood back in the top, so it'll have the same pleated kind of headliner, not a glue in like the modern ones. Here's gone through all the wiring in the dash, so we're pretty close there. You got your kick panels, all to be upholstered. But these seats were not even close. I mean, can you imagine putting truck seats in a 34? They're like not even close. So Eddie did a good job of just trimming. We're not talking about just trimming a little bit. We're talking about he took them back seats and remodeled them. I mean, remodeled them. Cut, whacked, cut off a lot what it didn't need. And used a lot of the existing material, because these are really, if you think about it, you've got a heated seat, you've got, I don't know how many powered up and down, back and forth, every which way, and it's got, I think it's a heated and cooled seat. So a lot of technology in the seat, but it was just not what it needed for the car. What didn't belong. It was like too much, just stuff it didn't need. So it got me thinking about pruning. Sometimes we need to do some pruning. So I don't know, do we do trigger time or what? How do we do this? We kind of blend the spiritual into the, except now I'm on the school board, and we got health issues. We got a culture issue. We got issues that are like, and then who decides what's right and wrong anyway? That's what I'm kind of dealing with. If you want to be lazy and sit on the couch, well, we talked about that the other day. You can do that. Just don't expect me to feed you. So I got a plan here. I'm sporting some of my bomber gear. So I'm a bomber. This is Bomber Nation. We're the Mountain Home Bombers. Awesome. So I'm going to practice. If you don't mind, I'm going to practice a little bit. Tonight's school board meeting, and I think I'm going to tie 2 or 3 things in here. So this is kind of our mission statement. But it's crazy. In the government world, the state will give you money and here's a pile of money, just do this with it. The government, the federal government will take our money and then give it back to us and say, you can have the money back, but you got to do this with it. They add all this junk on that doesn't need to be there. It needs to be pruned a bit. So we got this money, and I guess we're calling it a teacher retention bonus. It's not a performance bonus, because we've got some incredible teachers, and a lot of schools do, but Mountain Home, we have some incredible teachers that go above and beyond the call. Teaching is their calling in life, and it's great. I mean, so they should be compensated and rewarded. But tonight it's going to be on the agenda where we got to give this retention bonus. And to get this retention bonus, all you have to do is accomplish the bare minimum. I mean, and the bare minimum is like, if you don't accomplish this, you need to be fired, kind of the bonus. So how does that work? So I'm gonna do this. This is our school's mission statement. So in Mountain Home Public Schools, we're committed to excellence in education, every student, every time. So we believe in cultivating and supporting lifelong learners, challenging every student to his or her highest potential, partnering with home, school, and community for student success, acknowledging that students must share in the responsibility for learning, preparing students to be contributing citizens in the 21st century, practicing good citizenship among students and staff, and providing a safe, nurturing, and orderly environment for an essential part of, which is an essential part of learning. So that's pretty important. So I grew up, I was in scouting. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. As old as I am, and my memory is not what it once was, I was able to learn that. And they didn't pay me to learn that either. So I may suggest tonight at the board meeting, when they bring this up, that part of that retention bonus is, you know and you understand what our mission is. You can tell me, you can memorize it. That's part of teaching, I think, nowadays. Here, just memorize that, and if you can repeat what I've told you to memorize, we'll give you a good grade. So I think the teachers ought to be able to do that. And the same challenge as a board member, we ought to lead by example, so I'm gonna have to do some memorization work. I couldn't tell you what that says right now, because I just read it and I can't remember it. But I think that's a good challenge. But in that, I'm looking at what's going on and some of this stuff, like this money that the state says, oh, you gotta give it away. There's stuff attached to all this junk. We don't need to teach little Johnny that he's really could be little Susie. What? Where? Huh? That's just the tip of the iceberg. It goes way down. So sometimes it's just a little pruning is necessary. We're gonna need to get the foundational education, applied education. Let's get to some applied education. So I've got, here's the verse for today. I don't know how many teachers are watching this. I would assume at some point this is going to be more than just a hot rod crowd. So I'm already one of the most unpopular people in town from both the left and right, which I don't really care, but life goes on. So in John 15, the Gospel of John, starting right in the verse 1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch of mine that bears no fruit, he takes away. And every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes that it may bear more fruit. That's good enough. It's good. We could read just read the whole thing. It's all awesome. If it's not accomplishing anything, I mean, culturally, we got some issues. But who am I to decide? You know, those on the right, the far right, I mean, I'm looking at the far right no different than the far left these days. We have our Marxist socialists in their echo chamber that don't want to hear anything other than what they want to hear. And we've got our brown shirt fascists on the right in their echo chamber that don't want to hear anything. They got a God and country. I don't know what God they're spewing. And as far as the constitutional conservative, First Amendment says we have a freedom of speech, so we ought to be listening to everybody's opinion, and then it comes down to, hey, I've been pretty clear about who I am. I got elected to the school board. I don't need to change just because. If you want to change, you're not going to change my position, although I will listen to everybody else's, and we'll come to somewhere in the middle. It's fine. It doesn't have to be my way. It has to be a consensus for the community, and if you don't like it, elect somebody else, which will be no problem in my case because this is a 4-year commitment and I have no intention to re-up on it. But we've come to the place in this culture where we've added so much junk. This was a great car in 1934. We did some culling. We did some cutting. We cut the roof out. We changed up the suspension. If you took this car at over 100 miles an hour back in the day, you'd know you were in for a ride. I would have every confidence this car would go down the road at 100 miles an hour, and it would be just like highway driving. Not that I would recommend that anybody go 100 miles an hour. What is speed limits now? 70 some places or whatever. But you could be safe in doing that. And if 70 was the max speed, you sure you wouldn't want to be doing 70. Let's make the car safe to 140. And then when you're going 70, sure you're safe. So sometimes we need to put the parameters, what is actually doable out there, but let's keep it in the safe zone. Yes, we got these far left ideas, we got these far right ideas, but sometimes we just need to get practical and do some pruning. So I appreciate you helping me get ready for tonight. This should be pretty exciting. And tomorrow, I think we're going to talk about Brad. I think you're on tomorrow with the 34 with a Hemi in it, because Sean told me we want to take the hood and do something funky on the hood. So I'm going to build a part for that, and we're going to talk about how that's going to happen. So tomorrow, Lord willing, 11:05.